why is just as important as how. This is mainly to do with like the school system, and before I get into the main thing, I will say I live in Minnesota. We have a great education system here. It is great, but it's great, not perfect. And one of the biggest issues I have with it is we're still taught why, or we're still taught how, but not why. To me, being taught why is just as important as being taught how. Let me give an example. So after the first day of driver's ed, which by the way, I absolutely hated driver's ed, I was telling my dad, I was like, why do we need to learn stuff like this? Why do we need to know that a stop sign is an octagon? And I just like kept asking questions. He didn't answer until he finally said, I grew up in the 80s. There were bullet holes in the signs to the point where you could only decipher that they were a stop sign because of the shape. And I was like, there we go. Was it really that hard to tell? And it was told not by a teacher, which I'd appreciate it way more if it was taught by a teacher, and especially way more if it was just answered right then and there. Like, why do we have to learn this? Well, because there might be a situation where you'd have to, like, where you can't just tell it's a stop sign other than the shape. I'm gonna take a drink of water. There's fuzz on my water bottle. And just the other day in my English class, my English teacher had said why we're learning English. It wasn't an explanation that I would have used, but it was an explanation nonetheless. She had told a story where she was on a plane and doing trivia with someone, and she won because some of the questions were to do with stuff to do with language arts. And the explanation I would have used is like, I want to be a writer. I really enjoy writing. And a lot of, like, I pay attention to some of the stuff in English because I want to be a writer. Although now I'm starting to think I might want to go down more into something to do with IT. But, yeah, I'm getting off topic. But that's an explanation nonetheless. It's not an explanation I would have used, but it's an explanation nonetheless, and especially because it's coming from a teacher. And another thing I've noticed is that if you ask somebody, why are we taught history? They will most likely respond with, to not repeat it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Just less than 30 years after World War I, we got World War II. What are you talking about? Clearly, the message is not sinking. And because I've never had that told by a teacher. And I remember asking my freshman year to my geometry teacher, I was like, when are we going to use this stuff? And like he was like, I can't guarantee if you're ever going to use this. I can't say you're going to use this in the future. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But that's not what I was asking. I know that there's no guarantee I'm going to use y equals mx plus b and stuff like that in any time in the future after I'm done with school. But there might be someone who will. And I want to know an example of a career or something outside of a school environment that is using the stuff that I'm being taught. And a lot of the time when I've asked teachers, when am I going to use this stuff? 9 times out of 10, they have all said the same thing. On a test. To me, it's just like, it's either that they don't know, or they're avoiding the question. And it's like, if I'm being taught something, and the person who's teaching it can't even tell me why I'm being taught this, I feel like they're not qualified enough to teach me. And so to me, it is pretty ridiculous that we're not being taught why. We're just being taught how. And I'm willing to bet money that you will remember something a lot easier if you know why, just as much as you know how. And so, like, I can't think of any real life story that I have of that, so like, you tell me in the comments. Do you have a story of an example of where you remembered something better because you were taught why along with how and not just how? I hope you get what I'm saying. And to anybody who's like watching this who is a teacher, probably nobody, but if you are, it'd be great. I'm pretty sure your students would appreciate teaching why just as much how. That's something I would want. If I were to be a teacher, which I wouldn't be, like, I definitely couldn't do it. But if I were a teacher, that's what I'd do. I'd tell why, and I'd tell how. Because, well, are they really learning if they don't know why? Well, yeah, they're learning the information, but, like, they're not learning as much as they should be. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. This is mainly just a rant I've had about things, and it's just, I don't know, something with flaws. And, like, school is, like I've noticed everything that is tied to the government, whether it be a government branch or something that is controlled by the government, they're downright outdated. And school is one of them. It's just weird. The private companies are all about advancing and stuff, but yet the government isn't. It's just weird. So not only should there be changes in schools, there should be changes in the government too. I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I'm going to end the video right here. But thanks for watching. Stuff needs to be changed, especially to do with like the school system. Thank you for watching.